Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real. Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality Radio with Global Happiness Specialist, Peace Practitioner, yours truly, Rebecca L. Norrington. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing the show. Wow, what a ride. What a ride. What a ride it's been. What a ride it is. This life, if it's anything, it is filled, jam-packed with a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff happening all the time. Things happen. Let me tell you something. One of the things, and of course, I'm so hyped, so amped up, so excited, so passionate. I'm already just jumping in a topic, and I haven't even politely introduced myself, especially to the new listeners. Thank you so much for listening. Let me just share really quick what the show is, especially to you new listeners, and then I will get to the queue. I have a few people in the queue already raising your hands. Well, don't raise your hands yet. It's too early. Let me give my introduction. You don't even know who I am yet. You may not have a question. You may not want to ask a question. Anyway, let me get back to the show. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. The number to call in to ask your question is area code 646-564-9619. Again, area code 646-564-9619. And when I say I'm a global happiness specialist, what the hell does that mean? What do I do? Well, what I do is, let me just start from the beginning. When I was younger, I wanted two things. I wanted to live to my potential. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that would turn out to be. I didn't have a specific plan. I just said, I just want to live to my potential. And the second thing I asked for, always asked for, making a wish or throwing in change in a pond, always asked for, or a well, how's that one? Always asked, I want to be happy. And this asking for, wanting to be happy since my teens, I remember, just want to be happy. And I thought, like the majority, like 98% of the population believes, that it was what I did. It was what I accomplished. It was my relationships with my significant other or my parents or my coworkers or my siblings or all of that. And I'm here to tell you, and you already know this, happiness has nothing to do with anything outside, has nothing to do with your accomplishments, has nothing to do with your achieving your goals. You know it. I know it. But nobody talks about it. Happiness is a practiced skill. Happiness is a practiced skill. It is a state of mind. It is a vibration. It is an energy. It's a foundation. It is an identity. Happiness is how you vibrate, what level, when I say level, you all can feel the difference in your body, in your spirit. You all can feel the difference between an emotion that makes you feel open and free and light, and another emotion that makes you feel maybe a little bit heavier, tired, overwhelmed. There's a difference. And so what I share is there is a practice, there is a way to maintain that energy, that vibration with practice. Lots of practice. Maintain a higher vibration and higher energy level. But how do you do that, and what do you practice? Thank you for asking that question. When I define happiness, or when I give an example or an analogy of how I view happiness, is standing in a rowboat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And thank you for hanging in there with me, with my listeners that have heard these stories and these analogies for the last 100 years. You're standing in a rowboat. You're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Storm, tsunami, waves up and down. There's nothing peaceful about the experience externally, but internal, you are calm, you are trusting, you are balanced, you're relaxed, and that description, that is a way to live regardless of what happens. So when I say happiness is a practice skill, let me give you my definition. The definition is the ability to be at peace regardless of what happens and regardless of what doesn't happen. The other thing I like to share in the beginning of the show is there's a very famous study done by a hospice nurse. Her name is Bronnie Ware, Bronnie Ware, and she did a study using her patients, her terminally ill patients, and she asked them what are their biggest regrets, what are their 5 biggest regrets in their lives, and the answers were surprising, and there were 5 answers that she received from terminally ill patients that kept reoccurring, the same answers. So her study is titled, and you can Google it, it's called The 5 Most Common Regrets of the Dying. The 5 Most Common Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. And I believe it's a very powerful study. And the first common regret of the dying is, I wish I would have pursued my dreams and aspirations and not the life others expected of me. I wish I didn't work so hard. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings and speak my mind. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And I wish I would have let myself be happier. And that's where I come in. When I say happiness is a practice skill, I've done all the work for you. I've done all the research. I've done all the testing over and over and over again for decades. You're welcome. But the study, when I say practice skill, well, what do you practice? Well, this practicing skill are 2 parts. The first is acknowledging, illuminating, shedding a light on all of the program behaviors that you are committing, that you engage in, that you do, that literally subtract from your happiness, that have been proven to subtract from happiness. So the first part of the practice, when I say happiness is a practice skill, is to recognize, put a spotlight on all of the behaviors that you are committing, that you are doing, that is subtracting from your happiness. I mean, would you knowingly do something or behave in a way that subtracts from your happiness? That's a good question. Let me get back to that question. The second part of the practice is adding the behaviors, cultivating behaviors, nurturing the behaviors that have been proven to add to happiness. And I am going to add a new behavior to the list today. And that new behavior that I don't have on the list, let me look at my list, because you know I have a list. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Yay. Okay. Because the list, so I have a list of behaviors that subtract from happiness, and it looks like there's probably about, you know what, I probably can add these up. It looks like I have about 40. Yeah, I would say 40. And the behaviors that add to happiness, probably 30, 25. So what I'm doing today is adding another behavior that's going to add to happiness, and that is being open, which is the topic of today's show. The topic of today's show is being open, living open, staying open. Staying open to outcomes. Staying open to being okay with it. Whatever is happening doesn't look like how you imagined. How's that? Doesn't look like how you planned. Staying open to all possibilities, staying open to all outcomes, staying open to all of it, staying open. What is that? How does that look? Let me just share something really quick. Really quick. That's so funny, really quick. Today is the playoffs. And if you've listened to the show, you know I'm a football fan. Today are the playoffs. The last 4 teams. Now we're going to determine which 2 teams go to the Super Bowl. Now, both of the teams that I was rooting for are out. And I have to say that in 2022, it feels a lot different than past years when the teams that I was rooting for are not playing. I was really bothered because I had preferences, and those preferences ruled over my peace. Those preferences came before my peace. And when I say, let me just back up just a little bit. When I say happiness, the definition of happiness is the ability to be at peace regardless of what happens and regardless of what doesn't happen. When I talk about happiness, it is the same vibration, same definition, same meaning as this energy of contentness, as this energy of this energy of peace, this energy of this vibration of satisfaction, this vibration of peace, this vibration of moving, traveling along this journey with your shoulders down, relaxed, ready to hit whatever curveball, fastball you get out of the park, home run. And how is that done? How is that done? How are you able to, regardless of what happens, and I'm talking about health, finances, relationships, work, job, money, none of what I just listed has anything to do with your internal peace. None of it can affect your peace. With practice. Now, I was on a Zoom call yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. And this woman was talking about how her heart was broken. I don't know if it was from a relationship. I have no idea if it was from maybe a business venture. I have no idea what, but I heard heartbroken. My heart was broken. And I waited for a little bit because in my personal life, I don't really volunteer. Believe it or not, I don't volunteer like I used to volunteer information to people unless they ask me in my personal life. Online, on the radio, on standing on stage, yes, I'm going to just blurt anything out. But in my personal life, no, I stopped giving advice unless it's asked. But my ears perked up when she said heartbreak. My heart was broken. Because if you've listened to this show, and you have for a little bit or a long time, you know that there is one particular activity that will guarantee, there is one behavior, there is one activity that will guarantee you will never, ever be disappointed or have a heartbreak ever again. You know what it is. I know what it is. So I shared it with her because my heart was broken. What am I going to do? I have the answer. I have a solution, and I'm not going to offer it. I'm not going to throw her a life raft. I'm not going to throw her a bone. I said, well, there is a way that you can avoid having your heart broken ever again. No disappointment, no heartbroken. And I'm going to get to the topic. I know this is something that we've talked about forever. And she says, what is it? And I said, practice letting go. Practice having zero expectations. If you have zero expectations from a person, from an event, no expectations about what somebody is going to say to you, about if somebody is going to call you, about what somebody is going to share, no expectations, even if they make a promise. See, that's the key. Even if I promise I will. The practice is no expectations. And when I shared that with her, and of course it wasn't as long as what I just said. I didn't go on and on and on about zero expectations. When I shared that with her, guess what her comment was? And I've heard it forever. Practice having zero expectations, and her comment was, but that's so hard. And that, my dear audience, that comment, you don't know how many times I've heard that comment. Yes, this work, and it is work, growth is hard. Expanding is hard. Staying open, being open is hard. Practicing having no expectations is hard. Letting go of negativity, letting go of the habit of talking about yesterday is hard. But the rewards, I'm here to tell you, I'm a walking example of the rewards. Life happens to me like life happens to you. But the practice, when the practice kicks in, and it does, and the practice has been kicking in for a long time, when the practice kicks in, guess what? Whatever you experience, you can feel that it's softened. You can feel that it's different. You can feel that there is a different response that you have, a different perspective, maybe not a jumping into reacting all of a sudden. Maybe the reaction is slower. Because growth is sometimes you need a microscope to see it. Sometimes you need a microscope to see the growth that you've made, that I've made, that we've made. But the smallest shift, even if it's one cell, even if it's just one atom shifting, staying open to all possibilities. And what do we stay open to and why? You know what? I jumped from one story to the next. Let me go back to the football, because I had a point with the staying open, and I never did make it. Lord have mercy. Here we go, back to the football. Let's jump back. Come with me on this wild ride. So getting back to the football, so there's going to be 2 games on, and the winners go to the Super Bowl. My point about staying open is, if you are a football fan, there is a position in football, and it is a receiving position. It is the person that gets the ball thrown to them, not the person that gets the ball handed to them. It's the person that gets the ball thrown. There are receivers, tight ends, wide receiver, I don't know, receiver. So what these receivers, and they're known for, not all of them, but they're known for being divas, meaning they're always telling their quarterback, I'm open, throw me the ball. I'm open. Even if there are 3 people surrounding them, 2 people surrounding them, these receivers are so confident in their skill set that they will get angry if the ball isn't thrown to them. I'm open. Didn't you see I was open? I'm open. And if you're a football fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're not, I'm just trying to explain it. So this position as a receiver, they're always letting their quarterback know that they're open. They're always ready. Well, what is that staying open, being open, living open? What does that look like? You're always ready, being open, staying open. And how does that add to happiness? How does that add to your happiness? When I said I'm going to add that to the list of what behaviors add to happiness, being open, do I have that on the list already? Let's see. I have here's the list of behaviors that add to happiness. Making wanting to be happier a priority. Committing to the search for happiness, also known as peace, contentment, satisfaction, and balance. Surrendering to whatever is happening in the moment. Humbling, witnessing, recognizing, and not allowing the ego to drive or make decisions. Now, ego, I'm gonna switch it to mind. You know when your mind is out of control, when it's just going on and on and on and taking you out of the present moment, and it's got you focused on something that is like a pit bull. One of the things that the mind does, the mind, M-I-N-D, one of the things that my mind does, let me just speak for myself, is to latch on to something, whatever topic it is, and it's very tricky. It's very tricky. My mind will get me into thinking a topic, focusing on a topic, and next thing I look up, minutes have gone by, 15 minutes have gone by, and I'm up here just chewing on it, thinking about it over and over. My point is this. The mind, that constant chatter is never open. Never open to new ideas, never open to a new perspective, is not open to having patience, is not open to growth. What that mind does and what that mind ego, what that voice does is what it really is into is staying in the same spot, staying in the same place, regurgitating, ruminating, focusing, never leaving, all just locked in, not letting go. Over and over and over and over of just thoughts that just won't let go. Now, that state when you are just when I find myself stuck and all I can think about is one thing, And it just seems like and of course I'm letting go. I'm not in the present moment. Now I'm all in. They call it all in my head, thinking or just staying here. The practice is to witness the inability for the mind to be open, for the mind to come up with a different way, a different view of whatever I'm focused on. Oh, look at it this way, look at it that way. No, it's only one way, and it's usually always in that one way. It's usually, and it's never pleasant. When I say practice staying open, practice living open, the reason why, the results are open to new beliefs, open to discovering the truth. The being closed to, let me just go back to a child. A child's curiosity, I mean, it is endless. And getting back to that place where I want endless information, I want endless possibilities, I want endless ways to be open, endless ways to live open, endless ways to be patient, being open to more patience, being open to any new ideas, especially if when I've listened to them for the first time, I immediately go into a resistance mode. How about being open to people that are totally different, being open to people that have totally different views, conclusions, theories about life. Being open to someone that I wouldn't join that group willingly. And that's what I've found, especially, let me just speak for myself again. The practice is, it's easy to be open. It's easy to be okay and at peace with like energy. And the challenge is how to be at peace without the energy. Scratch without the energy. Okay, I'm getting a little bit. It's easier to be at peace with people that have like energy, and it's challenging being at peace with people that believe the opposite, the total opposite. And so that's one of the reasons why this is for survival. When I say survival, I mean the survival of my peace, my peace surviving. If I'm not growing, if I'm not changing, if I'm not making changes, if I'm not expanding my beliefs, if I'm not doing the work, if I'm not practicing patience, if I'm not willing to open to others with different beliefs, then guess what? I'm the one that's going to be suffering. One of the other discoveries I had this week, and it wasn't my discovery. It was while I was listening. And if you've listened to the show lately, you know I've been listening to Guy Finley, Finley, Guy, Guy Finley. And one of the things that he said, which is really interesting, talking about what image do you have of yourself, and I know I'm getting off topic, but I just wanted to include this because it was very profound for me this week. What image do you have of yourself? So I asked myself, okay, what image do I have? Let's see, what is it? She's kind, she's resourceful, she's funny, she's fun, she's smart, she's light, She's stubborn. She's at times judgmental, yes. So all of these images that I have, and when I say an image, it is an image of, it is a positive. Of course, if I have an image of myself, I'm going to paint it in a positive light. Yeah, I'm going to paint it in a positive light. And one of the things that I discovered, or Guy Finley was saying this week, and I love sharing his teaching, I really do. He was saying that I don't care what image you have of yourself, whatever image I have of me, any other person, any person outside of me, and it could be my identical twin. Any person outside of me is going to have a different image, a different perspective of me, their own personal, specific, and different perspective. No matter what my mind or my ego wants you to think of me, you are going to think of me the way that you are going to think of me. And I don't know how confusing or how simple that sounds, but that was a light bulb that went off for me. I spent a lot of time wanting, desiring other people to look at me, think about me in this certain light, this certain image. All positive, of course. And now that's something that I let go of after all these years, because there's not one person, because there's not one person that is going to believe or think about me exactly the way that I have this image. And so all of that image, all of that is going to have to be let go. I have a few people in the queue. I am going to go to the queue right now. Area code 502. What is your first name? You are live on Reality Spirituality. Welcome to the show. What's your first name?
My first name's Melody.
Hi, Melody. Welcome to the show. What's your question?
Well, I just kind of found you just about 2 minutes ago and decided to call in. I have recently been diagnosed with OCD for my intrusive thoughts. So I saw that you kind of are, you about happiness and everything, and I wanted maybe some advice on how to change that thought pattern.
Okay, so tell me, and number one, thank you so much for being open enough to share this. One of the things that I had when I was in my 20s and 30s, it was OCD, and it was called, and I've never even said it because it's never even come up. It was called a trichotillomania. Have you heard of that?
No.
Well, it's another OCD, and it's where you pull hair out. So I used to pull out my... Yeah, it's called trichotillomania. It's a little fancy name, but it was the same type of compulsive behavior, and I used to pull my eyelashes out when I was in my teens and my 20s. So I'm a little familiar when you're talking about obsessive thoughts. How has that looked for you? I mean, what does it look like for you, and how does that has it affected your life? Before I go into solutions. What have you tried to do?
I haven't tried anything, honestly, because I didn't even realize it was an obsessive. I didn't realize that what it was. But the main issue, the main thought is I obsess over losing my mom and my dad because I've lost my brother. And so I'm terrified of being alone, and it keeps me up at night. But I start therapy next week, but I haven't found any resolution.
How old are you?
I'm 35.
Okay, so you're a youngster. And I say that, that's young. So let me say this, number one, and I'm getting chills when I'm listening to you, and I get chills when I hear the truth or speak the truth, or I can feel while you were talking, I can feel that everything that you were saying is just so real and so true, and I mean for your life. Number one, let me just start off by like this. We are all as different as our fingerprints, so we all are on different journeys. But what I want to tell you is that your journey is not unique as far as these obsessive thoughts, these obsessive, constant thoughts. Let me tell you something. Let's take a deep breath together. And what I would like you to do, take a pencil and a pen and a paper, because I'm just going to start saying some things, and either you resonate with it or not. And also know that I'm not sitting up here thinking that I am an expert at everything, but what I do know is what I've experienced and what has helped me. Okay?
Right.
So and I just want to make that clear. So number one, these obsessive thoughts, I would say, when you say keep you up at night, then I understand now you've got to another level. But I would say 80%, maybe more of the population, people have thoughts that are consuming, and the reason why, and you know what else? I want to mail something to you, so stay on the line or email me and give me your address. I'm going to mail something to you, and it's called the Mental Laws.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? You probably could find it online. Okay, it's called the Mental Laws, and if you can't find it online, you just and you can download it online. It's by Barbara Berger. B-A-R-G-A-R-A, Berger, B-E-R-G-E-R. She's an author, and it's called The Mental Laws, Barbara Berger, and you can print it out. And if you can't find it, then I will mail it to you. That explains a lot. It has a lot of information on how the mind works, all these thoughts, why they don't stop. In other words, it gives a printout, and there's even more information about the mind. Number one, I don't even know number one. Number two, number three. What can you do? Number one, I want you to lighten up with it, because I can feel that this is heavy, meaning that we're all energy and all vibration. So what you have is a heavy, serious, this is really important kind of energy about it. You follow me?
Right. Yes.
So what I want you to kind of shift to is energy of trusting that this is light, that this is not that serious, that you are going to be working through all of it, light, and you still are going to work through it. You still are going to do the practices, but there's a vibration. In other words, either we go through life on a roller coaster, riding the roller coaster with our arms up, free and light and having fun, or we're grabbing onto the roller coaster of life with our hands gripping onto the handlebars, scared, stiff, heavy, that kind of thing. That's all I'm saying. So there's different ways to travel through life with all different challenges that we have. You're following me so far?
Yes, I like that metaphor. Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Now, the other thing you're talking about, your thoughts. That mental law thing the mental laws is really going to assist. The other thing is what I do, because I have thoughts too. What I do is it's a practice. When I say happiness is a practice skill, it is a practice witnessing the thoughts. Because the problem comes when you start identifying, thinking that these thoughts are your thoughts. That this is you, that this is you and your thoughts. What all of this is a collective. In other words, a recycled, if you will, mass recycled thoughts. The thoughts are constant, obsessive, but they're not who you are. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. And with that, knowing that they're not you, you can kind of step back and watch and observe and witness as opposed to being all in it. It's like putting your thoughts on stage. This is what I do. Put them on stage and pretend you're watching a show, a theater show.
Okay.
And you know that, number one, the thoughts are they're not true, they're not real. When I say they're not real, meaning that the worry about the past, the worry about the future, the worry about me, what I'm doing, what I'm not doing enough, the constant, the obsessive, all of it, especially the past and the future. That's another. Know that you have been programmed to have these obsessive thoughts. You were not born with this obsessive thought thing. No, you were taught.
Right.
You learned, you were programmed to behave like this from upbringing. So whatever you learn, you can unlearn. How we're doing so far?
Good. I like that.
Good.
So we can unlearn thoughts.
Yes, whatever you learn, you can unlearn. And know that it's not you. Your thoughts are not who you are. There's nothing about your thoughts are you. So you look at them as some imposter. You look at them as you look at a television show, or you look at a movie. Is that real? No.
Right. It's not.
No. So the same thing with the thoughts. So going back a little bit, the number one is really to relax, shoulders down, and to vibrate. This is not as serious as what my mind and my ego wants me to believe.
Okay.
And just because I am going through this right now, what is it, January 30, 2022, just because I'm going through this now in this moment, this too will pass. The other thing I want you to know is patience, sweetie. Seriously. Patience with all of this, with your growth.
Okay.
Know that you are 2% of the population that is doing something, that wants change, that is doing something about it, that is coming out and saying, you know what? All you're doing is finding out or getting another tool belt, what to do when this happens. That's all it is another tool in your tool belt.
Right.
You follow me? Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else I need to share with you. Yeah, the relaxing, and know that you are ahead of the game just by you even calling in. You know that people sit with their stuff and they can't even move and do something about it. You're already ahead of the game. Okay, this is something that I want to address. Not that serious. Want to address, and let's see. Let's work through this. Let's get through this.
Right, and that was called the mental law. Is that what you said? The mental law?
Yes. Let me see. Let me do this right now. Mental laws. Hold on. Mental laws. Okay. Hold on. Mental laws. I'm doing it right because I want to make sure I have this. Okay, Barbara Berger. Okay. The mental laws. And
okay.
Her website is BEAMTEAM, BEAMTEAM, team.com.
Okay.
But it's Barbara Berger, BARBARA, Berger, 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 Barbara Berger, The Mental Loss. If you cannot download that, if you cannot download it or she doesn't have it up anymore, just email me at rlnsignature@gmail.com. RLN, my initials, signature at gmail.com, and I will mail that to you. I have copies of it.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, and thank you. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling in.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
And call in again if you need to, okay? Call in next week if you need to. You got me.
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Wow, what a great call. You know, listen, we all have challenges. Every single one of us, myself included. And that's the genius, and that's the miracle, and that's the magic of this life. So magic, miracle, opportunities, open, staying open, arms open wide. Thank you, yes. Acceptance. Oh, I forgot to tell her that. Damn it. That was one of the best parts, is the acceptance of it. That was one of the biggest things. Oh, well. And you see, everything's in order, isn't it? Well, that's all of today's show. Thank you for listening. Reality Spirituality Radio, the truth about happiness, is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. My website, RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington, LinkedIn. My Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. I have a few videos on YouTube. My first book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon. And the second book, the one I'm writing now, is called Program for Unhappiness. And until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who you are. You are a physical extension of the universe. You're always evolving, always changing, always growing. Love is patient and love is kind. Be patient and be kind to yourself. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly, happiness specialist and inner peace practitioner, Rebecca L. Norrington. Have a conscious week, and remember, happiness is a practiced skill. Your experience in every moment reflects on what you practice. Have a conscious week.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Reality Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality Spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Get real.